Hi.
Hello.
So I'm fascinated by your character, Trask.
Yeah.
He's not a classic villain.
No.
How did you approach bringing him to life?
Yeah, classic. Yeah, you don't want to repeat any other great work that other people have done with their villainy. You got to always make something your own, don't you? No, I mean, this is a villain who, he wears a suit to work. He gets things done. And it's a lot like, I think, I just draw the analogy to like, big business. These guys who just have turned a bit corrupt in the name of money, really. Because Trask is a big capitalist. He's a war profiteer, and that's a pretty icky thing, I think, in my opinion, to get involved with. But he's also, he's a man of science. He's a man of science, and he very smart, and he knows what the mutants mean to our level of on the Darwinian steps there. So they mean our extinction, basically.
Yeah.
The non-mutants. The mutants mean the non-mutants' extinction, and he wants to prevent that and finds a way to get that okayed by the U.S. government.
I think one of the greatest thing about the X-Men movies is that the underlying message of the war against everybody who hates about people who are different. Do you think that this theme comes out in this movie as well, or is this more an action-based chapter of the saga?
Well, first of all, of course I relate to being someone who's different, obviously, because I'm 4.5 feet tall, my friend, if you didn't notice. And everything that comes out of growing up that way, much shorter than anyone else, has its effect on your view of the world and the world's view of you. You just have to learn how to dance with it, I think all of the X-Men movies will always explore that and what happens as a result of that. It's funny, the X-Men, the mutants, some of them are their mutation is much more on the surface than others, and I like how that affects the different characters. Yeah, for sure, of course, and I think not just people whose differences are obvious, but there's many differences, many different people, some more obvious than others, and I think why this movie appeals to so many people is we've all felt that outsider, cast as that outsider at some point or another, no matter for what reason.
Yeah. To a certain extent, this is the most spectacular X-Men movie. I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah, me too.
And was there a scene that was particularly tricky to shoot, for you?
For me?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
The stadium scene. I mean.
Yeah, that was the big finale. Huge. Took some time, but there's people really, tricky. I wouldn't say tricky. Long hours, sure, but that's what you do when you act in a big movie like this. You know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
But as long as you're the company you keep, the people you surround yourself with, and keep the energy levels up, and the discipline, and the sense of humor about it all.
Yeah.
You really it makes it much more enjoyable, as this was. Yeah.
What kind of research did you do before you started the role? Did you read the comic books, or did you?
I had read some of the comic books. I wouldn't call myself a rabid comic book collector like some people I know. But of course, I love the previous films, and this script, I think, was just an incredibly complex and just deeply woven story that this character popped off the page for me. I knew pretty clearly who he was pretty quickly.
Okay.
And Brian and Simon, the writer, were very helpful with fine-tuning it for me.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Peter.
Alrighty.